When I booked an Airbnb in Portland, Oregon, I thought it would just be another normal work trip. I use Airbnb a lot, and this one looked great. The pictures showed a clean little apartment near downtown, and the reviews were all glowing, dozens of 5-star ratings. But when I looked closer, every review was weirdly short, written the same way, and all posted within hours of each other. I ignored that. Big mistake. When I got there, the first thing I noticed was the place didn't look empty at all. There were dirty plates in the sink, a jacket on the chair, and a single work boot shoved behind the front door, like someone had just kicked it off. I tried to tell myself maybe the host just left stuff around, but it felt like I had walked into someone else's home while they were still living there. I messaged the Airbnb host, and their reply was way too specific. "Nice Dell XPS you have there, Rafi. There's Bluebird medium roast coffee in the cabinet. That should be your style." I never told anyone on Airbnb about my laptop, and I never mentioned what kind of coffee I liked. That freaked me out, but I didn't want to overreact, so I unpacked anyway. When I checked in, the host asked me to sign a paper copy of a house manual. I thought it was just house rules, but it asked for things like my emergency contacts and my workplace details. That was never mentioned in the listing or Airbnb's messages. The pictures of the place on the app showed the same folder on the table, but no forms inside it. I felt uneasy, but I signed because I was tired. That night I grabbed milk from the corner store. When I got back, the hallway light outside my Airbnb flickered like it was about to die. Around 1 a.m., I heard a soft knock on the door. I hesitated, then cracked it open. A man stood there, saying he was a concerned neighbor. His tone was casual, but he said something that made my blood freeze. He mentioned my co-worker's company by name, Greengate. He laughed and said, "I saw your friend at the loading dock." Nobody should know that detail. I slammed the door and locked it. My hands shook. I messaged the host through Airbnb asking if they knew who that was. The reply came instantly. "Oh, the neighbor checks on guests sometimes. The picture of your Dell helped him recognize you." I just sat there staring at my phone, realizing they somehow had a picture of my laptop. The next morning, I searched the drawers and found old bank deposit slips. The name on the slips was different from the Airbnb host's name. I took photos and saved them. When I checked out, I left a long, honest review on Airbnb, warning about the weird paper forms and the man at the door. The next day I got a chargeback dispute on my account, and my review was flagged for violation. Airbnb support said they'd investigate, but they never updated me. That listing is still active today. The dozens of fake-looking reviews are still there. Airbnb never posted my warning. I keep replaying the night in my head, the plates in the sink, the boot by the door, and that knock at 1 a.m. I've stayed in plenty of Airbnbs since, but every time I double-check the doors, the receipts, even the neighbors' faces, and whenever my phone buzzes with an unknown number, I still freeze, because someone out there knew too much about me. I booked this Airbnb in Charlotte last March because I needed somewhere cheap for a work conference. The listing said entire house, and the host, some guy named Derek, told me he'd be out of town the whole week. He seemed fine over messages, answered quick, sent me the lockbox code. First day was normal. I unpacked, grabbed lunch, walked around the neighborhood. Nice area, quiet street. Around 4 in the afternoon, someone knocked hard on the front door. I opened it, and this tall dude in a Carhartt jacket stood there looking confused. "Oh, hey," he said. "Derek didn't tell me someone was staying here." I explained I'd rented the place for the week. He nodded, said he was Derek's cousin, just needed to grab some tools from the garage. He seemed friendly enough, apologized for bothering me, left after 10 minutes. That night I heated up leftovers and watched Netflix. Around 11, I heard the front door open. Footsteps in the hallway. I froze on the couch, remote in my hand. The cousin walked past the living room doorway, didn't even look at me, went upstairs. I heard a door close. I texted Derek. He replied an hour later saying his cousin had permission to stop by if needed. Weird, but okay. Next evening, same thing. Door opened around 10:30. Footsteps. I stayed in the bedroom this time. Door locked. In the morning I found a coffee mug in the sink I definitely didn't use. Third night I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong. Around 2 a.m. I heard movement downstairs. I cracked open the bedroom door and saw blankets folded on the couch, fresh ones, and 2 plates with food scraps on the coffee table. I checked the Airbnb reviews the next morning, all 5 stars, glowing comments, but when I looked closer at the dates, some bookings overlapped with mine, like people had stayed here the same week I was here. That's when I found the sticky note. It was tucked behind a picture frame on the bookshelf. Just a list of names with numbers next to them, looked like star ratings, preferred guests, written at the top in blue pen. My stomach dropped. I messaged Airbnb support. Generic response. We'll look into it. Hours passed. Nothing. On checkout day I was packing fast, wanted out. I opened the coat closet to grab my jacket and found a phone charger plugged into the wall, not mine, and a small cardboard box on the top shelf filled with receipts. I pulled one out. Someone named Marcus had paid for a week-long stay, same dates as me. Another receipt, different name, same week. I took photos of everything and left. 2 months later, I was scrolling through a Charlotte neighborhood forum and saw a post warning people about a scam. Someone pretending to be a host's relative, staying in rentals between bookings, pocketing cash from people who thought they were renting the whole place. The post had a photo. It was the cousin. I never heard back from Derek. His account's been deleted. I still think about those blankets on the couch and wonder how many nights that fucker slept downstairs while I was right there. I swear, that getaway to Chicago last fall still sends shivers down my spine whenever it pops into my head. Hey there, I'm Jordan Tate, just your typical gal from Nashville who travels for music gigs and side hustles. I needed a budget-friendly place for a weekend workshop, so I snagged this Airbnb, a quaint studio in Wrigleyville, steps from the bars and that famous ballpark. Looked totally harmless in the photos, like a perfect short escape. Damn, I wish I'd picked a motel instead. Pulled up Friday night, wiped out from the long drive. The spot was fine, not too flashy. The old parquet floors creaked under my boots, much like my cousin's cabin where his hound would pace back and forth during thunderstorms, keeping us all awake. I flung my grey tote bag, the one with the frayed zipper I've been too lazy to replace, onto the futon and stepped out for a quick bite at a nearby diner. Got back around 11 p.m, and that's when I first caught this faint rustle in the corridor. Assumed it was pipes or maybe rats in the walls. Shook it off, locked the door, and dozed off. Saturday morning, shaking off the fog from a late coffee run, my eyes landed on the guestbook sitting on the side table by the kitchenette. It was this worn-out journal with a fabric cover stuffed with handwritten entries from folks who'd stayed before. Perfect for Cubs games, one gushed. Adored the lakefront vibes, said another. I flipped pages casually, grinning at the little hearts and sketches people added. But then, about midway through, things shifted. No more friendly script. These were gouged right into the paper, almost angrily, with dates and super-specific notes. Requests window view. Carried laptop case and purple scarf. Hails from Boston. What? I froze with my cereal spoon midair, wondering why anyone would jot down such random personal junk. Wedged in between a couple of those scarred pages were these vintage Polaroids, edges yellowed like they'd been handled a lot. Pictures of strangers snoring in the very bed I slept in, their belongings strewn about, and dim shots of the street outside at odd hours. One captured a dude passed out, with a timestamp of 2:42 a.m. from a few weeks prior. My breath hitched a little, but I rationalized it. Perhaps the host was some quirky photographer type, documenting stays for fun. Stupid thinking, I admit, especially since I had that workshop to focus on and didn't want to overreact. As evening rolled in, rest didn't come easy. The radiator clanked irregularly, echoing my neighbor back home whose washing machine would thump through the night during spin cycles. By 2 a.m, the rustle echoed again, this time right up against my door. I bolted upright, heart pounding, straining to listen. A vague shape danced in the light sliver beneath the frame, like someone lingering, maybe breathing. "Hey, anyone out there?" I croaked, my voice all shaky and weak. Nothing but quiet. I clutched my phone, but the bars were zilch in that drafty old walk-up. Spent the rest of the night wide-eyed, telling myself it was probably a drunk neighbour fumbling keys or my imagination running wild after a long day. Come sunrise, I yanked open the guestbook once more, hands clammy, scrolling through those creepy photos. Hold up, was that a fresh one at the end? A hazy figure lurking in the hallway, stamped 2:11 a.m. from just last night. It lined up perfectly with what I'd heard. My knees went weak as I tugged out a wrinkled slip of paper hidden in the binding, a receipt for cleanup fee, evidence removal, with a smeared address over in Gary, Indiana. What the fuck? I threw my stuff together in a panic, heart racing, and called Airbnb from a cafe down the block. They pulled the listing offline within hours, but digging around, I saw the same user running heaps of other properties with sneaky name changes like Wrigley Studio Nest or Fieldside Flat Retreat. Eerie as hell. A week back in Nashville, chilling on Twitter one evening. This unknown account leaves a reply on my profile. "Sweet Chicago trip, Jordan. That grey tote's adorable." I hadn't tweeted a word about it, no pics, nothing. Stared at the screen, chills running through me, then trashed the comment and blocked them quick. But even now, I catch myself glancing over my shoulder. Airbnb's off my list for good. My own floors squeak these days too, especially when my sister's hamster wheels around its cage at midnight, spinning like crazy. Scares the crap out of me every single time, making me relive that nightmare all over again.